Hey, welcome into another Tony Talking Trash About Music. I got my pal Jay here. We're doing some work on the record, decide, well, we're going to go ahead and deliver to you the long promised, our famous, our favorite, I shouldn't say famous, it's not known yet. That's like, I love that. One of my favorite things was when Kentucky Fried Chicken, they debuted this thing, they called it the Famous Bowl. How could it be famous before, in its debut?
That disgusting mashed potato bowl.
Yeah, they throw everything together type of thing.
That's how I ate it. I was just training school when you had to do square meals. That's here there.
That's got nothing to do with this, but it's to do with Neil Young, and we're having a good time tonight.
Neil Young likes mashed potatoes.
He does. Yeah, he's got them for sure. But anyway, we've got some records, and we try to rank our favorite records, and I've got almost all of them on record except for one that I have. It's on my record list and on his record list that I don't have for some damn reason. I've got everything else. I know what's wrong with my mind, but I don't have it. So I guess it's somewhere on CD, and I never replaced it again for some reason. I don't know why. But I can't believe I've gone all this time and not wanted to place a Dan delivery or something like that. I mean, it's such a great record.
Definitely.
But
we're starting at 10? Or
you want to start at 10? You have any honorable mentions before? Any ones you wanted to put on?
Oh, well, there's so many honorable mentions I don't want to do it. Neil Young, he's released so many albums, and our age, it's like I look at this list and I can just see, and I think some of his later albums, if he'd have released them in 74 instead of 99, it might be on my top list because I had more time to listen to his music. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's
to get over.
But here we go. My number 10.
We're just gonna say Boomer before we even start. Go ahead, man.
Okay, my number 10 is Trans in 1982. And this might be a weird one. It's not on a lot of people's lists, but I really got into this album. One thing, because I was reading about how, Neil was taking shit from a lot of people for it. And I was like, well, it's 82. It's like what it sounds like. Plus, I saw the tour when he sings to the TV. It was really ahead of its time. That's Neil's done a lot of things. That's why they call him the Godfather of Grunge, because he did it before grunge. But yeah, my number 10 is Trans. And then, the history on that album, I'm not going to go into it here, but it was actually a combination of, I think, one son or Y, and he had another one. It was really weird how he put it together. Plus, it irritated David Geffen, which that tickled my fancy, too, back in the day. But my number 10 is Trans. And if you haven't heard it, look it up on YouTube. I think it would surprise some people that are not really into Neil Young.
There's some other things about that record, too. That record has had a sticker on the back of it. I think there was something was supposed to be on that wasn't. That would have been one of mine that was bubbling under here. I also had...
it was also the time he was going through that intense therapy with his son.
That's true. It really affected him. That was a big deal.
Repetitive.
Yeah.
Plus, it was, it was computers and stuff when it was cool. I was also into Human League at that time.
Yeah, he's into trains, too. He brought an interest in
Human League Dare and Trans on my floor at my dorm.
Well, number 10. Man, number 10.
Your number 10.
My number 10 is the brutal and real reactor that Jay was talking about, mashed potatoes before. And right here it is, man. This is the album. Very pretty relentless. I love Shots. I think the dividing line really runs on if you can deal with Shots. Shots is his voice kind of cracks on it. Get Back On It's a country thing. T-Bone was fun. I talked about dancing at a trip at your house at the party. Surfer Joe Mosley's Opera Star. You'll never be an opera star. That's a great line.
Yeah.
He played that, whipped that out loud a few times. Southern Pacific's great, Motor City, Rapid Transit. But I love Shots. I think his record's great, and I don't really know. I don't think
this came out with it. And Neil was so inconsistent, too. I mean, to be a Neil fan, true. A lot of times, it's like the album he's releasing, he might have recorded that before the one he just released, and it's all messed up. And I think this came out after Comes a Time.
Yeah.
Comes a time, all right, Neil's back to Nicolette Larson, Easy Country.
Well, he always does that.
And Reactor comes out.
To the heavy.
But I think it's funny that our top 10, our number 10s is Trans and Reactor, because I guarantee there's a lot of Neil Young fans that aren't even aware those records exist.
Yeah, you're correct. Well, that's why you and I are doing it.
And what a segue. Number 9 is Comes a Time for Me. We're talking 78.
I would not do CDs, but that's one of the two that I couldn't find.
And if you remember 78, that was Earth Day. It's coming back to the hillbillies, West Virginia. Bluegrass was making a comeback. And this album, it came out at a time I was breaking up with my girlfriend. And I remember listening to these songs, looking at them now. It just comes back to me. Some of the stupid things I thought then. But it's a great album, too. And plus, it has Nicolette Larson on it. I loved her harmonies. I loved her solo albums just because of this album. I bought everything she put out. But my number 10 is Comes a Time.
You're number 9.
Number 9, right.
Number 9 is Comes a Time. Sorry. Okay. Well, that was right under mine. That was my number 11. Number 9, I'm going to be Captain Obvious for once, but number 9 is Harvest. And Harvest kind of holds a special thing with me because it's kind of time I became awake of it. I guess I remember going down, believe it or not, to Danny Taylor's house. And we would put on singles. And I remember I bought Old Man and I bought something. But I think what it did was, what we would do is we would put these records on and we would jam to them. And I would play piano, he would play trumpet. And what we would do is, I never realized, but we were just playing like modal jazz playing, like to the, like he'd set up like Old Man was like a minor thing. And so we just weren't fucking around. I didn't know what I was doing.
Right.
But anyway, but this has got some fantastic stuff on it. There's a Place, Out on the Weekend, Harvest. You know, it does flutter a little bit between acoustic and the symphonic. You know, Are You Ready for the Country's a shit stomper, pretty good. Alabama's probably the best song on it. Words, I like Words. I like the odd times.
What year was that?
This was This is when they made Journey Through the Past. About it was 1970. Was it one? I can't remember what year it was.
Yeah, it was close to After the Gold Rush. I always felt like you were either an After the Gold Rush fan.
It's 72, I think. I think it's 72.
And Harvest, you know, everyone liked Harvest. So that's probably, I was weird. That's probably
72. It's 72.
It was probably one of my ding-dong friends that didn't have anything to do with Neil Young suddenly had Harvest 8-track and pissed me off.
Look at what I have.
I'm only the one.
Look at what I have.
I have that also.
But the lyrics and the words inside here are kind of nice.
Warren album's great when you got extra. Neil was the king too. He covered everything. Didn't he like put an album one time on the paper? Like he knew it was going to disintegrate after so long. That was the whole point. Yeah,
it's fun.
Like,
anyway, okay, that was my number 9.
My number 8. Everybody knows This Is Nowhere, 1969.
Whoa.
This is probably I'll say, you know, Neil didn't release these albums in order, and I didn't buy mine and become a fan of albums in order. After the Gold Rush was actually my first exposure.
Maybe I don't. Maybe this one I don't have either. Gotta put it up there, Joe. Don't have it with me.
Oh, well, everybody knows This Is Nowhere. It's
fantastic.
Like the first, you know, it's him and Crazy Horse, Cinnamon Girl, Cortez. If you're a Neil Young fan, you have to have this album.
Cowgirl in the Sun.
Cowgirl in the Sun, really. And actually, I listened to these songs more. I remember there for a while I went through a thing where I bought a bunch of Neil Young albums and I was listening to them all, but I can remember when Decade came out.
Yeah.
And it really, I was like, it amazed me how many songs on Decade that I liked were after all this. But my number 8 is Everyone Knows This Is Nowhere.
And my number 8 is going to be one that foreshadowed the beginning of the end of what some people consider to be the non-commercial period of his, but the album Freedom from 1988. This is a volume deal. I think it's 88. Yeah, it's 88. I'm pretty sure 88 or it's 89. 89, I guess, by the time it got out. But they had that other EP that was out before El Dorado. These songs,
which is great.
Someday on Broadway, Wrecking Ball, No More, Too Far Gone. Remember No More on the Saturday Night Live and with
and was Blue Notes before this?
That was right after it.
Right after it.
Yeah. Crime in the City, Don't Cry. Or maybe it was right before this. No, you're right. It was right before this. Because Crime in the City was written on that tour. And Don't Cry, My Sweet Love.
Yeah, it was weird. Later on, I listened to El Dorado and but I did not get into this album when it came out. I mean, I was living in Spain at the time. And, I liked it, but I went through a weird period over there. I got into Euro disco, actually.
Well, I understand. That's number 8, man, Freedom.
Okay. My number 7 is another weird one that a lot of people like, but Time Fades Away. And I just love this album. I used to put it on headphones. It's one of my headphone albums. And, my favorite thing on here was, Don't Be Denied. And I even loved it more after I found out how much it was about Neil Young. But even for that, I would try to, put it to you like, Don't Be Denied. It was great. And,
the inspirational song.
Journey Through the Past, The Bridge, Last Dance. There's some great songs on here, but I don't think I would have felt I got my money's worth if I went to this concert right after Harvest.
Well, that's the way he was, man. He was.
But I experienced that in a small way when I went to the Greendale show, and it amazed me. Nowadays everything's on the internet, so I knew what to expect. I'm in line behind. There's always like Rolling Stones concerts and Neil Young concerts. They look like there's some fans that they cryogenically freeze them in between shows, and they've been around till the 70s. I heard this guy say, "Oh, just be happy if he plays Cinnamon Girl." I looked at him. I'm like, "Dude, that's not going to happen. He's going to play Greendale, and then if we're good, we'll get 3 Crazy Horse songs at the encore." And he's like, "I hate Greendale." I was like, "Okay."
Too bad you came to the Greendale show. My number 7 is the same as yours. The other one, and I didn't have it. Everybody knows This Is Nowhere. That was probably the first one when Crazy Horse was really announced at its full power to the, to the folks. Hello Cowgirl in the Sand, huge hit there. Huge hit with Cinnamon Girl. It's just been it just was a classic and a classic time, and it was really the kind of the hallmark of Danny Whitten. I guess it was like the peak of him and his influence on things. But that's my number 7. Everybody knows.
Man, my number 6 is how I even have a T-shirt that's had it forever. Zuma, 1975. Who was the guy that did those weird drawings for him? It was a guy in Topanga Canyon. Anyway, that's right off here, but it's one of Neil's friends.
Mazio.
Yeah, Mazio. But, Zuma. And I think this is a very good rocking album. I used to play it a lot. And it's like I looked at my list just now again. And the songs, and I'm remembering so many of my Neil Young affected my love life back then. It's like I can remember going through good times or bad times. But, I mean, Cry No Tears, Stupid Girl, and of course, Cortez. When listening to that on headphones was...
Yeah.
Listening to Cortez on headphones was life. It was just a different way to listen to music. You knew you never going to hear that on the radio. In fact, you didn't want to.
I love Don't Cry No Tears big time, and Cortez, and of course Drive Back's cool too. What a record, man.
And it's like,
agree.
Like I say, I listen to some of Neil's albums that he's put out since 99 and beyond, and I just wonder, if he'd have put these out now, they'd probably sell as much, and if he'd put these up back then, they might have sold as much. You know what I mean? Neil,
that's true.
He minds the same vein, but there's only one.
It's hard to leave enough space,
And you can't, like Illinois. I think that sucked. I went and saw the tour too. But
you didn't like it?
No, not at all. Okay.
What was that? That was your number 6. My number 6 is going to be the last one that I don't have. My thing's going to be Rust Never Sleeps. How the hell I don't have that? How the hell I don't have Sedan Delivery? How the hell I don't have Welfare Mothers?
It'll drive you crazy.
Come on, man. I love it. I know it's here. I know it's here somewhere. If it's not, then I'll certainly could pick one up anywhere, but it infuriates me. But anyway, it's what a classic. And also the Live Rust too. I don't have that either. So I evidently was playing those together, or they never got them back and then listened to CDs. But that's my number 6 is Rust Never Sleeps.
Okay, I'm on mine. Number 5. And like I said, this goes back, is After the Gold Rush. That was the first Neil Young I listened to. I love the song After the Gold Rush. I was lying. I don't know what. They played that on the radio back in the 70s, actually. I think that's what got me into it. And then, I read, I love Neil's pants. I remember having my girlfriend sew some patches on it just like that. And then later on, I learned that when they took this picture, that was all by happenstance. That lady just happened to be going by. Yeah. And they caught it and, used that for the cover. But, with songs like, I'm Gonna Love You Till the Morning Comes. And it was just, like I said, After the Gold Rush. And wasn't it supposed to be originally like a soundtrack to a Dean Stockwell movie? And Neil just went ahead and finished it. And then Don't Let It Bring You Down, which if you ever heard some of Neil's live shows when he plays this, he says, now I'm going to play a song that's guaranteed to bring you down. He says, don't let it bring you down. But, my number 5, When You Dance, After the Gold Rush. Like I said, I always felt like, I have them both, but I always feel like you're either an After the Gold Rush fan or you're a Harvest fan. Yeah. And the real Neils, now I'm going to sound like one of them dickhead people. Everyone, if you like Neil Young, I don't care if you only got one album. It's worth it. That's not number 5, After the Gold Rush. Your number 5 is After the Gold Rush. My number 5 is going to be In the Glory Years of Man of Farmer John. Ding, ding, ding. Over and over, Fucking Up, Country Home. Mansion Love and Only Love, Days It Used to Be.
Love to Burn. Jesus God, man. I mean, this is like the one. Just,
I brought this.
Look inside it. It's amazing. If you look at the cover, it's really just a.
I bought this on CD at the BX in Torrejon, Spain. Brought it home to my house. It was a Friday. My friends were getting ready to go out, and I had a good stereo system. I put it in. From the first notes, I remember just looking at him saying, "Crazy Horse is back. Crazy Horse is back. I'm going to love this whole album," and I did.
You could just tell.
Yeah,
you could tell right away the sound was there, wasn't it? It's a sound like God or something. It is amazing. That Crazy Horse sound is something special, man.
I highly recommend. What's that? The live album they did.
Weld.
No, but what was the one they played? They previewed all the songs on this album. No, I'm getting mixed up.
Oh, you're talking about the Rust Bucket.
Yeah, the Rust Bucket, way down the Rust Bucket.
Yeah, it was before this. It was right.
I didn't know. There's a video of that show too.
That's amazing. What an amazing box. You're right. Okay. Good to mention that, man. That's an amazing thing I've got over there. I didn't even bring it out to show.
My number 4 is Rust Never Sleeps, 79. And
there it is, the last one that we don't have, Joe. Put it up there.
And I remember it was back in, 79 exactly. We used to go up on top of the mountains in West Virginia because that's the only place you could get the radio stations from D.C. to come in on your card radio. And D.C. 101 would play whole albums new. At midnight.
You get it downstairs.
Yeah, and a lot of people would record and everything. We just happened to be up there. I'm not sure what we were doing. 3 of us guys. And this came on, and I mean, we didn't move. We sat in the car and just let it blow us away from the first acoustic side.
Hey, my mind of Pocahontas.
Through that, and then to the
Thrasher.
Thrasher and Crystal Canyon and dragging on his body.
On the same side. Oh, my God.
But that's my number 4. Rust Never Sleeps.
Yeah, that is a special one. That's your number 4? My number 4 is going to be where you were before. I'm going to be chasing you on some of these.
Yes,
and that's going to be Zuma. I love it, man. I like Stupid Girl. I like Don't Cry No Tears, especially. I love to play that song. Danger Bird.
Is Bite the Bullet on this?
Good. No, Bite the Bullet is on the other one with.
That's about his most risque song he's ever
written. Yeah, it is. Barstool Drive Back, of course, to Myself. And it's beautiful, the songs with Crosby, Stills. And
the thing with Neil Young, now I'm thinking that I probably should put that album on here.
Well, because of that, man. It's all
change every time. Yeah, but Zuma, I mean, come on.
I love Zuma.
If I walk in someone's house and I see they have Zuma and an album, it's like, we're probably going to get along.
Yeah, that's right.
I love albums like that. If you ever go to someone's house and you see an album they have, I'm like, ooh, there might be a problem here.
Yeah, for sure. Lisa said there was a couple of girlfriends of hers that broke up with guys.
But I used to do it on purpose, like when Eric would have his...
Well, he said he was a fan. She said, I'm done.
When Eric would bring his... I call them dog people. His rich folks that were trying to be Grateful Dead hippies in West Virginia back in the 70s. When I would come home, and I wasn't a big Grateful Dead fan, and Eric would be playing some, I'd immediately take it off and put Kiss Alive on and pretend like that's what we always listened to. Because they'd be waiting for Eric to come on. He just gave him a key or something. But anyway.
Putting on Strutter and shit.
Yeah. Hey, Ace was always my favorite. Kiss. Tony and I, my first concert.
I was 1975. Yeah, we went to Johnstown. We did.
What were we, 13, 14?
On the Willis Bus.
Yeah. Okay, my number 3. Are we number 3?
Gateway to Freedom, man.
Yeah. My number 3 is On the Beach, 1974.
Yes, your number 3 is On the Beach. Tell me about On the Beach. Tell me why you like On the Beach. Tell me what you like about it.
For number 1, the cover. I mean, back in the 70s, it's like, look at this cover. It's, I don't mean Neil. Oh, I know. And I remember words from this album more than the songs titles. We're just pissing in the wind.
Yeah, that's right.
It's just this album just rolls. It's one of those
headphones. I stole that line.
For the Turnstiles, he basically makes songs, you could just tell his turmoil. I remember listening to these on headphones and just almost absorbing them more than paying attention to them and falling asleep because now I'll put it on.
He was really emotionally distraught at that point.
Yeah, I mean, the Ditch, he met a lot more interesting people there.
But it's amazing. It's got Revolution Blues.
Oh, yeah. The
Vampire Blues, On the Beach, Motion Picture, Ambulance Blues. I guess I'll call it Sickness Gone.
He didn't have one hit in the
No, Walk On was close to it.
Yeah, Walk On. I really got.
Turnstiles.
I rediscovered that one Decade too. It has such a good bass line.
How about the keyboard? How about the lead on drums on "See the Sky"?
Oh my God!
And he goes, had a broken fiddle.
Yeah.
Broke it down. And that's where Broken Fiddle came from.
He's got so many songs, man. Until you told me to do this.
See the Sky about to rain, man.
Now I just pull
the reason I'm lingering on it, brothers, that's my number 3 also. So we got one in common. We got exactly the same number 3. I love it, man. It's deep to my soul. I remember when it came out, and I'm like, well, people consider this to be a bad thing.
I think I bought this in a cutout because it has a little.
Yeah, it's got the thing inside. You can see the inside of the thing, and we got the lyrics also.
Oh yeah, I forgot about the inside show. Neil would do this.
Let's see if maybe this is not for the right record. I don't know. This is for the. No, this is after the Gold Rush. I'm sorry.
But I forgot about that. Mine has that too.
Gold Rush.
Like what artist could convince the record company? I also want you to print the inside.
And then here's also this with a letter from the guy that played fiddle. He said he can't read it right too well. I'm not so sure why Neil's trying to get me to do this, but here's my thinking of it.
Okay. My number 2, we've already gone over it again, is Ragged Glory. Like I said, in 91, I've already talked about it. When that came out, I remember I could just tell there was something different about it. And people don't realize, before the internet, I didn't, and I was in the service at the time, I didn't know what was coming out unless I got a newsletter or I went to the BX, and there it was. And there it was, and I brought it home. And it's just Mansion on the Hill over and over again. Once again, hits another one of my relationships at the time. Someone that came to see me, and that song, it's like, oh my God. It's like he's writing them for me. But Mansion on the Hill over and over again, effing up. I mean, it was just like, this is Crazy Horse. I only saw Crazy Horse once, all 3 of them together, and it was the Greenville.
You're kidding me, man.
That was the Greenville.
Oh my God. Well, that was.
They didn't tour that show. They didn't tour Ragged Glory in Europe. I forget what happened. They got pissed off. It was like, I read about it. They were all ready. They didn't come to Europe one night.
Okay, that was your number. That was your number 2.
That was my number 2.
And here's going to be my number 2, man. It's one that we've already touched.
And get high.
Man. You got
After the Gold Rush.
After the Gold Rush, fantastic record. Cripple Creek Ferry.
I forgot. Hey, Cripple Creek. Actually, when I went to Nashville, I was stationed in Nashville. My first took guitar lessons.
You told me.
I had the Neil Young songbook and all these songs. And then
amazing.
When you're learning guitar, some of these are pretty easy to play.
You know what? Honest to God, he and his music was very instrumental in me learning to start wanting to write songs, because it made it so it wasn't out of reach for me when I was first learning guitar, especially.
And man, some of his songs, he could be I'm gonna love you till the morning.
Yeah, that's a great song. Yeah. That's my number 2, man.
Okay, I'm up to my number 1.
Here it is. Are we going to have a double thing?
I changed mine from that, so I think 1. But I was thinking, okay, what is the number 1 coolest Neil Young album that I would have to have? Tonight's the Night, 1975. I listened to this so many times in college, just over and over, because you wouldn't know where you were in it. It's an experience. You can listen to it stoned, drunk, sober,
you listen to it, it's like
late night.
You're in it. You're in the show.
I even loved it more the more I read about it. Albuquerque. Oh my God.
Is this where he's talking about finding some fried eggs and country ham in Albuquerque? Is this where he's talking
and Tired Eyes,
Speaking out. I remember I walked into Penguin Feather Records when I had gotten the job down when I first moved down there. I didn't get the job there, and I heard this voice cracking on this record. I was like, "You've got to be fucking
And he was going to. What's the story back? He was going to release another one, but he had this one done too. And then wasn't it Rick Danko or someone of the band?
Yeah.
Was in on. He said, "Oh man, I've released this one," something like that. And then you got so much stuff with it, and even on the album, what is it, Waterface? I remember reading about it in the '70s, man. Like an album, you would study it religiously. I can remember reading the things. And then, the tour. This is the tour he took to Europe, I remember. And he played the whole album.
Here you go, buddy.
And people, I have that. In the Dutch. Yep, the back's in Dutch. Or something's in Dutch. But
look at who is that behind him?
I remember, welcome to Miami Beach, ladies and gentlemen. Everything's cheaper than it looks. I remember they took that tour to Europe, and he would play the whole Tonight's the Night album. And he'd come out, and he would come out. Yeah, and he would come out.
Why'd they do that?
He would come out for an encore, and he says, "Okay, now I'm going to play something you've heard before," and everyone would cheer. And instead of playing a hit, he'd play the first song they played after this album, just play it again.
Yeah.
And like he just
Tonight's the Night.
And true artists really like that. You know, they want to irritate the artists. Their
Waterface. Welcome to Miami Beach. Everything is cheaper than it looks. As you know, the Santa Monica Flyers. Look here. You saw this.
So did we both pick this as number one?
Number one for me too, brother.
Take it from Tony and Jay. Neil Young, number one.
Tonight's the Night. And I have actually an original black label copy.
And you know Neil Young, if Neil Young would have died at 27, there'd be more t-shirts of him than Kurt Cobain. But
probably would be.
Neil Young said he'd rather live longer. You know, you got to put up with albums like Harvest Moon.
Like everyone, Harvest Moon, man. That one's
Harvest
cakewalk
Moon
compared to some of the other ones.
I mean, I hate that. That's Neil Young. For Neil Young's that I only heard Harvest.
Listen, one thing I heard, and one video that I took down because the algorithm got screwed up was, you know, another record I'd look out for would be, again, Landing on Water. I think the production on that record really kind of sunk, and some of the songs are kind of fun. I wouldn't give up on it before. But anyway.
Host will be here soon.
So we will be ready to go, and we will be seeing you here soon. We'll be seeing you in the next video.
Tony only gets me
and we're gonna
for
get
music
this,
I'm familiar with.
So we're going to get this guy for some other stuff that he knows. And
Dino, we're all kinds right.
That's right.
What's Dino?
That's right. Dino's going to do something here with me. Like
it's funny. Like we went in high school together. I can remember running through the halls and looking at Tony going, "I dare the Cult to hurt me."
Yeah, we liked the Cult, man. It was good. We all were Blue Oyster Cult fans. But anyway, tonight's about Neil Young and appreciating the stuff that he did. And thank you guys. And remember to help us out by hitting the like button, subscribing, and I appreciate you being on this journey with us. And we'll see you guys next time.